Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the IHI Call Days, Call 4 and 5. My name is Sergio, and I will be moderating today's session about safe and sustainable by design packaging and single-use device solutions for healthcare products. Today with us, we have Elisabetta Bodano, who is Principal Scientific Officer at IHI. Before we start, I would like to read a disclaimer. Please be aware that the call topics are still under consultation with the State Representative Group and the Science and Innovation Panel, which are IHI advisory bodies. All information regarding future IHI call topics is indicative and subject to change until call launch. You will find the final authorized version of the topic text on the Funding and Tender portal. Just a reminder before we start, we are recording this session and it will be published on the IHI website and the B2Match platform. We will also publish the presentation slides. Without further ado, please, Elisabetta.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. And just to say what this session today will cover and will not cover. So we will give you a little introduction to the Innovative Health Initiative Program. And then there will be a presentation by the industry lead from the Pre-Identify Industry Consortium on the topic text per se. Then there will be some little information on the proposal submission and evaluation and some tip for writing a successful proposal. We will not cover the rule of procedure since we have a dedicated webinar on this, and you will find also all the information on the website. So just first of all, to put everything in context, what is the Innovative Health Initiative? It is the new under the Horizon Europe partnership in health between the European Union on one side and represented by the European Commission, and on the other side, the Healthcare Industry Association, COSIR, Medical Imaging, Radiotherapy, Health, ICT, Electromedical Industry, EFPIA, including Vaccine Europe, so in short, the pharmaceutical and vaccine industries, Europa Bio, that is covering the biotechnology industry sector, and then MedTech Europe, medical technology industries are under this umbrella organization. And what is the Innovative Health Initiative IHI's general objective that has been given to us by the legislator? First of all, the most important is really to try to turn research and innovation into real benefit for patient and society. In Europe, we are very good in research, but what we are not very good is to transforming research into real innovation that get to the patient and to society. So that's really, in a nutshell, one of the important objective of IHI. What to do this? Because we need to deliver safe, effective health innovation that cover the entire spectrum of care, from prevention to diagnosis to treatment, particularly in areas where there is an unmet public health need. And we needed to have a much better connection between all these different areas. And of course, last but not least, it is a most important objective to make Europe's health industry globally competitive. Next slide, please. So what is the important mission of IHI? You can find it more in detail in the strategic research and innovation agenda, and which has a focus really, first of all, importantly on cross-sectorial approaches to facilitate the creation of new product and service that are integrated and they can be relevant to prevention, interception, diagnosis, treatment and management of diseases, and also in general to foster recovery from disease more efficiently. And the goal is really to lay the foundation for development of this innovative product and solution, responding, of course, to unmet public health need, and really to try to get something that eventually could be implemented in the healthcare system. Most importantly, the IHI is playing in the area of pre-competitive research and innovation. So that is very important that everybody is aware about that. And you can find much more detail on the link that is shown in the slides. So here today we were talking on a topic that is launched under a two-stage process. And so how does it work? So first of all, we had now the topic, and we will hopefully very soon launch the call. And once the topic will be approved by our governing board, and then consortia that are composed for all, let's say, public, but that can also include, for example, medium science enterprise that are eligible for funding. They can then, or in any case, eligible to participate. Then some maybe will not be eligible for funding, but still can very welcome to participate. We'll have to get together and prepare the best possible consortium that they think can best address the objective of the topic that will be presented now in a few moments. And then what will happen that all this proposal will go for peer review by a panel of independent experts, and the first ranked, the one that is considered obviously using the evaluation is doing with very precise and openly available evaluation criteria, will be the first ranked will be invited to create a full consortium with the pre-constituted industry consortium and then write with them a full proposal. So now we created the half of the moon, and then the other half of the moon will join, and then look, hopefully everything will shine out, and we will get a beautiful project that once, so the proposal will have to be evaluated again by a panel of evaluator, normally is the same that has seen the proposal at the first stage. And it is a go, no-go decision in the sense that the expert will have to evaluate if now that all the consortium have been created, everybody has worked together to get what was in the topic to reality, this is good enough. And then if it's, hopefully this is true, then we will be able to do the final negotiation of the contract, and there will be the grant agreement signature, the consortium agreement signature, and then we will be able to release the funding and people will start working. And now we leave the floor to the topic writer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present this topic. And you see already by the title of the topic, it is related to sustainability. And in fact, we'll have two topics so on sustainability for IHI. So this one I will introduce to you. And later at 4 p.m. CET, another one, topic 6, will be introduced by Christian Schonau. And they will be, if successful, interrelated and with bridges between the two because they have some commonalities. But you will see that later at 4 p.m. today. Next slide, please. And so the challenge is, I would say, it is not so obvious, but it is obvious to make more competitive the European healthcare industry by taking early position for the development of sustainable options, which should ultimately generate less waste, require less waste treatment, reduce carbon footprints, and also to increase circularity. All in all, so we should reduce the environmental or start to reduce the environmental impact of healthcare. And as well, so it is, I would say, also aligned with the Paris Agreement on climate change and the objectives we have now on the carbon footprint reduction by 55% by 2030 and to be neutral by 2050. Next slide, please. And this project is really a cross-sectorial collaboration. On the industry side, I cannot disclaim the partners of the pre-formed industry consortium, but it is a mix of pharma companies and medtech companies. And also, you will see that later with the slide describing the call, but refer as well to the draft of the call as it is today. And we will need a large set of partners, healthcare providers, because waste a lot of waste from packaging and single-use devices are generated at hospitals and landing to waste management and which are, I would say, non-optimally managed so far. We should include as well circular economy specialists, notably which will be one major deliverable of this project if finally funded after the second stage, including life cycle assessment. Also to include European non-profit association. And for example, so we know that in Europe there are waste recycling association, packaging association, single-use plastic association. And since they are the voice of a number of stakeholders with activities related to packaging and single-use plastic, and also for all questions regarding recycling, but also to consider eco-design, to start from the beginning with new, possibly packaging and single-use devices to be either collected, sorted, recycled, and possibly it is not completely out of this project, maybe reuse. Also, standardization bodies may advantageously be included because this should be articulated with, for example, for medtech product with medical device regulation, or also for on the IVD, on the in vitro diagnostic side with the IVD regulation, but can be also include EMEA or agencies working with EMEA for pharma products. And also, all partners of the project should work as well on and on with European policymakers. And I'm just reading that is very important to support evidence-based policy making. And what I should say, what I have not started to say, so sustainability legislation in Europe will evolve massively and still in preparation, but the first text should be in force with some more or less period of extension from 2025. So that's the reason why we should also generate evidence-based policy during the project. Next slide, please. In such a project, and with by gathering all stakeholders, should really accelerate the implementation of alternative eco-packaging and single-use device materials, and by including all stakeholders. And once again, importantly, policymakers, regulators, standard bodies, for example, so if we have to change materials, we have maybe to redefine packaging standards or single-use device standards. And also, naturally, for any new alternatives, we should also identify, characterize, test new replacement materials. And why? Because we should not compromise the safety of these materials by changing the starting materials for packaging and the single-use device. The patient outcomes should not be put in danger. Next slide, please. Expected outcomes. So really to start shaping, not to start but to see this IHI project as one of many opportunities to shape products of the future by embracing even earlier, at the earlier steps, eco-design principles, and introducing then the next point, to apply the principles of the Safe and Sustainable by Design framework, which has been published by the European Commission and also available with the GRC report. Just by typing this keyword, you should easily retrieve the framework and to apply this for packaging and single-use device with two goals: to generate minimal waste and to facilitate recycling. What I have just said before with the previous slide, alignment with the European packaging and packaging waste directive proposals, and also even it is not completely so applicable, but the principles can be retained for this project, the eco-design of sustainable product directive proposals. And I would say even, so there is one more, green claims directive. All of them can be, I would say, implemented advantageously. Innovation and what it is really important should be adopted at the end. So it should be accessible for the healthcare providers. And also, what it is important is not to favor recycling and before sorting collection, but we should not compromise the overall balance. That means we should, in this project, start from raw components in manufacturing processes with minimal carbon footprint. So that means we should consider eco-design and reduction of the carbon footprint for all steps of the design of new packaging solution and single-use medical devices. And what it is also very important, if collection, sorting, and recycling should be effective and efficient, we should have short circuits for recycling, packaging, and device waste from healthcare providers. The situation in Europe is not the same from one country to another one. Some are more advanced, some are lagging, but this is very important that HCPs can partner with local partners for recycling. Next slide, please. Expected impact. What it is important, and there is a framework, a guide, which has been released by the European Commission, so safe and sustainable by design. And I would say it would be an advantage for the applicants and for the industry consortium to apply on the earliest design stages this framework, and also possibly to make some recommendation, to suggest some revision, and also to communicate on use cases as far we can communicate, on the results. So that is very important for the sake of the partners of the project, but also to make publicly available what can be generated by such projects. And see the footnote, new solutions are holistic in nature and should not create additional adverse environment, social, and governance issues, and should facilitate circularity. Even if it is not a closed loop, that means packaging materials to be reused for healthcare packaging materials, that can be reused for other industrial application. Next slide, please. What it is expected from you, potential applicants. So beyond grant administration and project management, so the usual task we have for each European project, to first assess the European landscape of waste management of medical packaging and single-use device, and including the starting materials, and including also the collection, sorting, and recycling perspective. And possibly not in a single country, but to select two minimum or three and more countries to have, a representative picture of the European situation. Healthcare providers, you should also run a current assessment of your practices of waste management, and also how your audits are done at your facilities, and also to run pilot studies from the use cases, it means from the packaging solution and the single-use devices of the industry partners, and to see from how they can be collected, sorted, and recycled by favoring short-circuit recycling machines. Also to work very closely in partnership with industry partners on the acceptability, applicability, and implementation of regulation on safe and sustainable packaging and single-use devices, according to the one I have listed in the previous slide. Also to provide data on the trends on eco-design and waste management of FTech products, to assess the physical chemical characterization and to evaluate biocompatibility, toxicity of alternative sustainable solution. New solutions should not once again compromise the safety and the clinical outcomes of patients. To run life cycle assessment, environmental impact of more sustainable solutions versus current situation. And as well, to consider the question of certification of green claims of materials used for the packaging and single-use device solution. This is not, I would say, and we should, with this project, be away from greenwashing, but how green claims can be an advantage for all stakeholders, and to differentiate from the current solution, which can not be eligible for green claims. Next slide, please. And the list of tasks is not exhaustive, so more information can be found in the draft of the project call and what it is expected from the industry consortium, as well to be committed to the grant administration and project management, but of course not only. To actively participate to the development of new use cases of packaging and single-use pharmaceutical and medical devices. That means to design and develop this solution, but also applying the safe and sustainable by design framework. And it's successful, so that means it should not stay at the lab scale, but should be industrialized, should be implemented. And as said by the IHI officers, so to be sure that translation will be effective at the end of the project, or very soon within the next first years after the end of the project, should be once again, and this is very important, should be acceptable and adoptable by end users, otherwise the efforts will be vain, or maybe also even better when compared to existing solution, and also to compare, the performance of the new solution with existing solution to show equivalency in terms of specification. And once again, I really insist on this: do not compromise the safety and the performance of the medical products. Recycling. To be also heavily committed to make recommendations, for example, to improve the sorting and recycling of packaging in single-use devices, and also from what we will learn from the public consortium, to also influence the way the industries may design new packaging solution and single-use device solution. Next slide, please. The budget will be up to 16,600,000 euros, and the maximum financial contribution from IHI for the public consortium will be half of this amount. That means 8,300,000 euros. And once again, so these above amounts are indicative and subject to change, and also pending approval by the IHI governing board. Next slide, please. The project is intended to last 4 years, 48 months, but at stage 2, the consortium selected, the public consortium selected after the first stage as a predefined industry consortium, may also revise to some extent the total duration of the project when submitted the full proposal. But 4 years is the indicative duration of the project. Thank you.
Great, Heath, thank you very much. And now we will go through a few details for concerning the nitty-gritty proposal submission and evaluation. So first of all, you will have at your, the applicant have at your disposal a proposal template, which include different parts, which are all important. You have all to fill and read carefully. So this is the part A, that is all the administrative data that is entered in the web form through the funding and tender portals. Then you have the part B, that is really the narrative part, where you have really to explain the proposal, so that first of all will be well received from the evaluators, and the information has to be organized in 3 sections: excellence, impact, quality, and efficiency of the implementation. The template include a good amount of instruction and guides to help all the applicant to really don't forget important element that they should include when preparing the different section. And so it's very important that you first, before start writing, really read the instruction very carefully, because maybe you have prepared a template and proposal for other instrument of Horizon Europe or a national level, and then please just not recycle. Read carefully and try to put the information that is needed in. And then there is also some annexing, which is most important, is the one of the participant type. Stage. So when the panel evaluator will receive your proposal, after having done a simple eligibility check, that they will then send the eligible proposal for evaluation, and they will have to will scrutinize and review all the proposal on the basis of 3 evaluation criteria. The first one is the one of excellence, and clearly there they will look how clear and pertinent are the proposal objective in line, of course, with the topic text. You have to remember that the experts have the topic text as their Bible. So they will not look at anything else. The topic text, what is in the topic text, is what the expert will look that your proposal objective correspond to. And of course, they will look also that the extent of which the proposal is ambitious and goes beyond the state of the art in the context, of course, of a specific field of research and innovation. And of course, they will have also to look at the fact that the proposed methodology is sound, that is able to deliver what is promised, what is the vision that the proposal has. And then the second is the criterion that we look at is the one of impact. And there also is very important is they will have to look at the credibility of the pathway to achieve respective outcome. So what are these pathway? In the sense that the proposal will end up with some results. And it is important that these reports need connected to the relevant end user, that in order then to this end user have access, and then so which is very important, so the dissemination and communication and dissemination policy of the proposal, and then putting this thing together, there should be the ability to create some impact. So clearly this impact are the ones that are in the topic text, that is part of the work program. So we should read the topic text. And of course, I will also look at the scale and significance of this contribution to the objective that are will be released by the project once it become a reality. Next slide, please. And the third evaluation criteria is also very, very important, because you can have brilliant idea, but if you don't have a good plan on how to implement your idea and with quality and efficiency, at the end of the day, you will not reach the outcome and the impact. So and there they will look at the quality effectiveness of the work plan, considering also, of course, the fact that at the first stage, the applicant have to consider that then they will have to work with the other half, with the industry consortium. So clearly the reviewer will have to look also how best what is proposed by the applicant as a work plan fit with the expertise and the areas that have been already highlighted by the pre-constituted industry consortium in order to get to a good final results. And then, of course, we look at the capacity of each participant and the extent to which the consortium as a whole bring together the necessary expertise, of course, having the different areas that are important, but also not to have redundancy. So now, if I can tell you about a little few tips. The first one is pretty obvious, but it's not obvious for what we see every day. That is, people should read all the relevant material, especially the topic text, but also the various rule, the funding, in order to really consider all the different aspects and get the possible best package. Of course, for doing this, for getting a good proposal that will be ranked first, because you're all running to become first, then you need time. So please move and start preparing your consortium as early as possible. And again, please remember, always think always public-private partnership. You are creating a half that will have to join the other half to get to something that will be more than a sum of the two. And then, of course, again, please ensure that all information requested in the call text and proposal template is provided to allow the evaluation expert to easily assess your proposal against the evaluation criteria. It is nothing more unnerving for evaluator when they have something that is not clear or with information that is not presented. So really, presentation is very, very important in addition to substance. And also consider, as also Yves said, it's important really to think about the engagement of the policy makers, so the regulatory impact of the results in the broader sense for this topic. So there are different tools that you can use to help you, of course, join Presento. Either built if you are a future coordinator, or join a pre-built already consortium. Of course, first of all, network with your contacts. And of course, for those that are also participating to this call day, and use the funding and tender portal search tool. And you have all the links, relative link. Of course, we have the IHI national contact points that you can find also this link, and please use them. They are there to serve you. And also remember to network also on the different social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and below you have also the link to the page with more information on how to find project partners. And then, of course, we have the B2Match platform where you can actually book meetings with other people you would like to get in contact. And that is very simple. And you just have to follow 4 easy steps. First, you have to, of course, flag that yourself are available for meetings, because otherwise people will not know that you are interested. And then you should look for partners on the participant organization tab. Then you can select date, time, and attendee that you would like to invite, and you can invite up to 8 for each meeting and add a message. And then you can send the message, the meeting request, and of course wait for the reply. And you have a step-by-step guide how to book meetings on the website as shown here. Okay, and then now we would like to open the floor for questions, and please use the chat function on the right corner of your screen to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elisabetta. Thank you very much, Yves. Indeed, now it's the moment to ask your questions. Use your chat box that you will find on the left corner on the bottom. So please go ahead and ask the topic writer and the scientific officer in charge of this topic. I would like to use this opportunity to promote the marketplace. Right now, if you go to the B2Match platform, you will find that 12 opportunities there pertaining to this very specific topic. So there are many interesting project ideas that you can join, partners looking for other partners, or leaders actually looking to, very intended specific speciality. So just go there and check if you meet those criteria. At the same time, I would like to promote this afternoon's last topic on Call 4, actually. And it will start at 4. It's Sustainable Circular Development and Manufacture. So it's a really nice opportunity. If you haven't done so, just use your agenda to book the slot, and you can actually participate in this session. And next week, we are starting already with Call 5. We have 4 different topics. On Monday, we will have IHI rules and procedures. We will explain you in detail how to present a proposal for a single stage call. And then we have on Tuesday 2 topics: non-animal approaches for health technologies. And at 2 p.m. Brussels time, we have therapeutic solutions. What else? Then on Tuesday, then on Wednesday, we have stroke management. And on Thursday, we have the last 2, so synthetic data generation, topic 4. And finally, the most important one, financial part of the proposal. This is really interesting, and this is a really good opportunity for you to learn how to fill in all the and complete the financial part. So I'm looking at the chat. For the moment, we don't have any questions. So I guess we can actually conclude this session today. Thank you very much for attending, and also a special thanks to Elisabetta and Yves for being here with us today. Elisabetta and Yves, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sorry. There was a question?